curious minds, welcome to ProjexCellence ProDigy, your one-stop solution for all your project management needs. I'm Govind, a PMP certified project manager. And today we will explore project procurement management, the key to acquiring the right products, services, and resources for a successful project. We will break down its three core processes along with their inputs, tools and techniques and outputs in a simple and practical way. So let's get started. Project procurement management is the process of purchasing or acquiring goods, services or results from external sources to support the project. It includes planning, managing, and controlling contracts, purchase orders, and agreements. The procurement may be handled by the project team, management, or the organization's purchasing department. There are total three processes in project procurement management. First process is under planning process group, plan procurement management. Second process is under executing process group, conduct procurements. And the third process is under monitoring and controlling process group, control procurements. Plan procurement management. In this process, we determine what to procure, when to procure, and how to procure goods and services which are needed for the project. It includes preparing procurement documents and selecting the best procurement strategy. Conduct procurement. In this process, we obtain seller responses, select a seller, and award the contracts. This involves evaluating bids, negotiating contracts, and finalizing agreements. Control procurements. In this process, we manage procurement relationships, monitor contract performance, and making changes as necessary, and ensure that the seller meets the contractual obligations. Let's discuss each process in detail with inputs, tools and techniques and output. We will take one project for the reference, installation and commissioning of 20 megawatt solar power plant, and will try to relate the processes in its context. First process is plan procurement management. Inputs here are project charter, business documents, project management plan, project documents, EEFs and OPAs. Project Charter. This document outlines the project purpose, key milestones, budget, and authorization to procure necessary resources for the project. For example, in our case, the project charter will include approval to procure all the required resources for the project, like solar panels, inverters, mounting structures, and transformers. Business documents means business case and benefit management plan. Business case justifies why the project needs external procurement instead of in-house development. For example, in our project, buying pre-assembled inverters is more cost effective than designing them in-house. Benefit management plan. It defines when project benefits will be realized. Let's suppose benefit management plan mention that power generation must begin within 12 months. So, looking into this target, we need to complete the procurement process in time. Project management plan. Various subsidiary plans give inputs for this process. Like scope management plan will define what parts of the project will be outsourced. For example, in our project, few activities like civil works, panel installation, and external wiring are outsourced. Quality management plan, it specifies industry standard for procurement. For example, for our project, solar panels must meet the IEC 61215 and IEC 61730 quality standards. Resource management plan, it identifies resources to be procured. For example, it is decided that the skilled labor for high voltage installations will be hired externally. Scope baseline, another subsidiary plan of project management plan. It contains the approved project scope, WBS, and technical requirements. For example, the contractor's scope includes EPC, suppose, engineering, procurement, and construction activities. Project documents, various project documents are referred for this activity, like milestone list. It shows key procurement deadlines. For example, transformers must be delivered by month 6 for site installation. Project team assignments. It determines if the team has the skills for procurement activities. If, let's say, solar panel installation expertise is missing, so in that case, an external contractor will be hired. Requirements documentation. It lists the procurement specifications. For example, the project requires tier 1 solar panels with a 25-year warranty. Risk register. It identifies procurement risk. For example, risk of delayed shipment of inverter due to the supply chain issues. EEFs, enterprise environmental factors. Market conditions. How is the availability of solar panels and transformers in the market? Regulatory requirements. Is there any regulatory requirement, grid compliance, and safety approvals required before the commissioning? Financial systems means the payment terms with vendors like 30% advance, 70% before delivery. Organizational process assets, OPAs. Prepared vendor list means the preferred suppliers for panels and inverters based on the past performance. Procurement policies. What are the internal guidelines on contract approvals and payment release schedules? Contract. What type of contract was followed in past project that can be referred for the current project? For example, a fixed price contract ensures stable cost for the solar panel procurement. Tools and techniques. Expert judgment. The project team consults procurement specialists and legal experts to understand different contract types. For example, fixed price versus cost plus contracts. Also, the experts can advise on local regulations such as environmental compliance and if there are any government incentives for the renewable energy. Data gathering means the market research. The procurement team research what best is available in the market. For example, in our project, procurement team research leading solar panel manufacturers and installation contractors by reviewing the industry reports. They check supplier credentials, past project performance, and pricing trends. Data analysis, make or buy decision. The team decides whether to buy pre-assembled inverters or assemble them in-house. They evaluate cost, required expertise, risk, and financial metrics like return on investment and net present value. Source selection analysis. The project team chooses the best selection method for each procurement. They set different criteria. For example, for the standard items like boards, cables, and connectors required for the project, they may go for the least cost option. For hiring engineering consultant, they may set the qualification criteria. Means the consultant should have the specialized experience in the solar industry. For solar panel suppliers, they can set the quality based selection, means efficiency, warranty, and durability. Fixed budget criteria. If the budget for solar power plant installation is limited, so bidders must submit proposals within the set budget. Meetings, another tool. Before finalizing procurement strategy, the team organizes meetings with potential suppliers and contractors to discuss the technical specifications and delivery timeline. This allows for negotiations and better alignment between buyer and seller expectations. Outputs. Output we are getting here procurement management plan. This document will outline how procurement will be conducted for the project. Procurement activities will be aligned with the project schedule to ensure timely delivery of all the equipment like solar panels, inverters, transformers, and other key equipment. It will contain Key procurement activities timetable. Risk management techniques will be mentioned for procurement activities, like it is mandatory for bidders to submit the performance bond for the critical equipment. Another output is procurement strategy, which means the approach for acquiring goods and services. Are we going for a turnkey EPC, means engineering, procurement, and construction contract, where the contractor handles everything from design to commissioning, or we are going to award phase wise contract? Bid documents, various documents which are used to invite bids from vendors, like request for proposal RFP, request for quotation RFQ, request for information RFI. Procurement statement of work SOW, it defines what needs to be procured. For example, in our project solar panels, the SOW could be minimum efficiency should be 21%. Let's say certification IEC 61215 or IEC 61730, or warranty for the solar panel should be 25 years, and efficiency should be more than 98%. Source selection criteria means how vendors will be evaluated based on technical capability or cost or delivery timelines or warranty and after sale support. Make or buy decision, it will specify what will be in project team scope and what will be outsourced. Independent cost estimates, a third party consultant will estimate procurement cost for benchmarking against vendor's bid. Change request, if unforeseen issues arise, for example, vendors delay, so change request will be raised to adjust the procurement schedules. Procurement documents update, various documents like lessons learned register will be updated for the procurement challenges for future project reference. Risk register will be updated with risk related to vendor performance and delivery delays. Milestone list will be updated for key procurement milestones like contract signing or delivery dates. OPA updates, qualified seller list will be updated based on vendor performance. Standard contract templates will be updated to reflect the lessons from the project. Next process is conduct procurements. The inputs here are project management plan. So all subsidiary plan or project management plan will be referred, like scope management plan, requirement management plan, communication management plan, risk management plan, procurement management plan, configuration management plan, cost baseline. Project documents, various project documents like lessons learned register, project schedule, requirement documentation, risk register, stakeholder register, all will be referred for this conduct procurement process. Procurement documentation, these documents are used for supplier selection, like bid documents, RFQ, RFP, RFI, and procurement statement of work SOW, independent cost estimates, which helps compare suppliers' quotation with market rates. Source selection criteria, which evaluates proposals based on price, quality, experience, and delivery timelines. Seller proposals, vendors submit bids with technical and financial proposals. For example, in our project, let's say vendor A offers a high efficiency panel at a slightly higher cost but with a better warranty, and vendor B offers cheaper panel but longer lead time. So the team will evaluate and select the best fit. EEFs, the external factors which may impact the procurement, like local laws requiring a percentage of materials to be sourced from domestic suppliers, or maybe economic condition which affecting import prices of solar panels, maybe market competition which influence the vendor pricing, or previous project experience with certain suppliers. OPAs, internal policies and past experiences that influence procurement. Tools and techniques. Experts help in decision making throughout the procurement. Like for the proposal evaluation, a technical team reviews the bids from multiple suppliers. And subject matter experts like engineers analyze whether the proposed equipment is compatible with the plant's design. Or for the legal and compliance matter, the lawyers ensures contract follow the regulation. Negotiation experts negotiate better warranty terms, bulk discounts, and delivery schedules with vendors. Advertising. To attract the qualified vendors, the procurement team advertises the project through various mediums like news channel, newspapers, online portals, or industry publications. Bidder conferences. A pre-bid conference, which is called a vendor meeting as well, is held to clarify the requirements for interested bidders. Vendors ask questions about project timeline, technical specification, and contract conditions. Clarifications are given so all vendors have the same information, which ensure the fairness. Changes are documented and shared with all bidders. So this avoids confusion and ensures the better quality proposals. Data analysis means the proposal evaluation. After receiving proposals from different vendors, the evaluation team analyzes them based on technical compliances, cost comparison, delivery timeline, and the risk assessment. Interpersonal and team skills. Final negotiation takes place to secure the best deal before signing the contract. Once the both parties agree, a formal contract is signed which detail the pricing, delivery schedule, warranty, penalties and payment terms. Outputs. Selected sellers. After evaluating multiple bids, procurement team selects the best suppliers based on price, quality, delivery times, and compliance. Agreements, contracts with sellers. Once sellers are selected, so formal agreements are signed, which specify scope of work, schedule and milestone, payment terms, quality criteria, warranty and support, penalties and incentives, change request, and dispute resolution. Change requests. Sometimes new requirements arise after signing contracts, which leads to change request. So these changes go through the perform integrated change control process and are formally documented. Project management plan updates. Contracts with sellers can impact several project management components which require updates like quality management plan. For example, in our project, if seller B offers alternative inverters with a different efficiency, so the quality criteria will be adjusted. Risk management plan. If let's say supplier's factory is in flood prone area, so the risk register is updated to reflect the potential delivery delays. Schedule baseline. If the EPC contractor needs 3 extra weeks due to weather condition, so the project schedule will be adjusted. Cost baseline. If material cost increase due to supply chain issues, so the cost estimates are revised. Project document updates. The procurement process results in updates to several project documents, lessons learned register, requirement documentation, resource calendar, risk register, and stakeholder register. OPA updates. Company maintains a record of supplier performance, which helps in future projects. The last process is control procurements. The inputs here are project management plan. The project team uses the various component of project management plan to manage the procurement control like requirements management plan, risk management plan, procurement management plan, change management plan, and schedule baseline. Project documents like assumption log, lessons learned register, milestone list, quality reports, requirement documentation, requirement traceability metrics. risk register, stakeholder register. These all documents will be referred for the control procurement process. Agreements. Contracts signed with suppliers define obligations such as delivery timelines and payment terms. Procurement documentation will be referred as an input for control procurement process, like purchase order for equipment, payment records for suppliers, and work performance report from contractors. Approved change request. Suppose there was some change request and that is approved, so that will be referred as an input. For example, in our project, a supplier proposes an alternative brand of inverters due to supply chain issues. So this will be referred as an input. Or the project team requests additional safety features for electrical components. Work performance data will be referred. For example, progress updates on equipment deliveries or installation completion percentage or amounts paid to the contractors. EFs like contract change control system, market conditions, and financial management systems will be referred as an input. OPAs, the procurement policies, past supplier performance records, and the standard contract templates will be referred as an input. Tools and techniques, expert judgment. Various subject matter expert SMEs are consulted, like engineering expert in solar technology ensure the right equipment and materials are sourced. Finance professionals review the financial stability of suppliers or contractors. Legal experts ensure compliance with local laws and environmental regulations for solar installations. Claims administration. It is a technique which is used in managing and resolving the disputes, changes, or claims related to procurement contracts to ensure that the project remains on track and within agreed contractual terms. A claim in procurement arises when one party disagrees with the other regarding contract terms, scope, cost, delays, or performance issues. It happens when the seller demands additional compensation due to unforeseen work and the buyer refuses to pay for additional work, claiming that it is already included in the contract. So there is a dispute over contract scope, quality, or delivery timelines. So claim administration facilitates resolution of disputes. Data analysis. Various data analysis techniques are used to monitor the procurement performance. Like performance reviews are carried out. Seller performance is evaluated against contract terms like cost, schedule, quality, and deliverables. Planned versus actual performance is compared to identify the variances. For example, in our project, if a contractor was supposed to install 500 solar panels per week, but he installed only 400. So a performance review would highlight the cause of delay and the corrective actions can be taken accordingly. Earned value analysis EVA measures the cost and schedule performance using EVM metrics like CPI cost performance index, SPI schedule performance index. It helps to determine if procurement cost and schedule are on track. If suppose the SPI is 0.8, so it will indicate the contractor is behind schedule, so which require the corrective actions. Trend analysis is another data analysis technique which is used in control procurement process. The supplier's performance trend is checked over time and the pattern is studied. It helps to predict the future performance based on historical data. Root cause analysis RCA technique is used to investigate why procurement issues like delays, cost overruns, defects occurred. It helps prevent recurring problems by addressing the underlying causes. Inspection. Different type of inspection are carried out, like on-site inspection are conducted at the supplier's facility or project site before accepting the goods or services. For example, the technical team visits the solar panel supplier's factory to verify the panel efficiency and durability. Factory acceptance testing, FAT. A pre-shipment inspection is carried out where equipment is tested at the supplier's location to ensure it meets all the requirements. Receiving inspection is conducted upon delivery to check the damage, quantity, and compliance with purchase orders. Third party inspection. Independent auditors verify compliance with international standards and regulations. For example, a third party agency inspects solar modules for compliance with IEC 61215 certification. Audits. Audits are used to assess the overall procurement process. This could involve reviewing contracts, supplier performance, and procurement records to ensure the correct processes were followed. For example, suppose if there are concerns about the quality of panels, so an audit could trace the supply chain to identify if the procurement process was followed properly and whether the supplier adhered to the terms. Outputs. Closed procurements. It is a formal written notice from the buyer to the seller confirming that the contract is completed. It ensures all deliverables are accepted, payments are made, and there are no outstanding claims. Work performance information. It compares actual procurement performance against contract terms, including deliverables received versus expected, technical performance achieved, cost incurred versus budgeted. For example, in our project, supplier delivered solar panels with an efficiency of 90% instead of the agreed 98%. So this discrepancy is recorded in the work performance report. Procurement document updates. So all the procurement documents will be updated if there are any changes taken place while carrying out the control procurement process. For example, if additional quality inspection was conducted for solar panel durability, so the updated inspection report is added to the procurement documentation. Change requests. If procurement issues lead to changes in project scope, cost, schedule, or procurement plans, so change requests are submitted and these are processed through the perform integrated change control process. For example, if suppose the supplier delays the cable deliveries, so a change request is raised to extend the installation timeline in the schedule baseline. Project management plan updates. The subsidiary plan like risk management plan will be updated if unexpected procurement risk occur. Procurement management plan will be updated if supplier performance impacts the procurement strategies. Schedule baseline will be updated if supplier delays affect the overall project timelines. Cost baseline will be updated if material cost fluctuate due to the market conditions. For example, in our project, if solar panel prices increase, so the cost baseline is updated to reflect the higher procurement expenses. Project documents updates. So the project document like lessons learned register, resource requirements, RTM, risk register, stakeholder register, these all documents will be updated. For example, in our project, if suppose the poor logistic from a supplier delayed the shipment, so a lessons learned is recorded to avoid this vendor in the future projects. OPA updates, sellers evaluations, pre-qualified list, and procurement records are updated for the future reference. For example, if a supplier consistently delivers defective cables, so it must be removed from the pre-qualified seller list. We have reached the end of this episode and we have successfully covered another milestone in our project management journey, focusing on project procurement management. Before we wrap up, I'd like to kindly ask for your support. If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement truly means a lot to me. Namaste, goodbye, Sampai Jumpa.